All right, hey, good morning, everybody. This is Mike, obviously, and I am not able to do a live today, so we're going to experiment and do a pre-recorded live and play it at 9:19. A little more condensed version of our what's happening in the weather world. So I didn't want to deny everybody our puppy love before we go into the weather real quick. So there's the boys. They're a little feisty this morning. Hunter and Louie. They're tugging on a rope a little bit ago. I think Louie's mad. Hunter's stealing the show, so I always got to start with Louie because he's the man. so there you go. All right, so we're playing softball today, so I'll be at the fields watching Emily. So we'll do a quick little update here on the tropics and the weather and see how this goes. So you guys can chat away like normal. I just won't be there to read it, but you don't need me. You have fun without me. That's for sure. So as always, I'd like to thank ABC Fine Wine and Spirits out of Florida here, our Facebook Live sponsor. So as you head into the weekend tomorrow, make sure you stock up on ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. They're like the adult candy Toys R Us store. And we had a softball party here at the house last night. And we had a wider range of variety, if that makes sense. All right. There we go. All right. So, weather-wise, real quick, nothing cooking in the short term. Good news, right? We always, the last several days, we've been seeing the same trend of a slow middle July pattern. So that's still expected, 5-day outlook here. We are in the midst of another sow outbreak. Not as bad as a couple weeks ago, but there is a big plume. Yesterday we showed it was a little bit more over Eastern Caribbean. Now it's making its way into Western Caribbean. Little break behind, another little guy coming up from behind, but as far as the next 5 days goes, this little plume kind of choking off anything in the near future. The MJO forecast, right on par, what we keep showing. Into August or into July, we're going to start seeing an uptick of possibility. We'll see a little bit of positive MJO, which will help enhance thunderstorms. So we're in this little lull right here, 2 weeks maybe. We could see a little development here off the coast of Africa. I'm going to show you real quick in the next couple days. Nothing highlighted from the NHC, but there are models showing that we could see our first wave try to make its way across. And I've been showing that a lot too. So things are really much, if you've been following us here at Mike's, things are really consistent. No big changes. These waves we keep watching are still out there. Still not seeing huge signs of anything to get too excited about. So that's good. Interesting to note here. Here's we got our morning blob, by the way. I showed this earlier, but this is pretty impressive. The last 2 days we've had a big convective blow up here in middle U.S. This is slowly going to the east. A little bit of lingering rains for the upper Gulf Coast. So Whitney, if you're watching, and crew from the Louisiana area, Mississippi, you got a little bit of action right off the coast. Florida, the flow has shifted. The winds from Florida now. We have a lot of fans here in Florida. And we got a strong easterly flow the next several days, and we're going to have temperatures below 90 along the whole east coast here of Florida. So that's a good break. We're looking at upper 80s now instead of upper 90s, as our wind flow now is from the east to the west. And what that's going to do too, Florida, our thunderstorms are going to be developing more in the middle of the state and pushing more towards the west coast. Kind of the classic pattern you might remember growing up if you lived in Florida like I have my whole life. So that's the big changes in short-term weather. Here you can see it today. This is this afternoon. This is noontime. Starting to see a few little pop up over here on the east coast of Florida. And as the day progresses, they're going to flow to the west coast. So not everybody will get them, like always, any place, anywhere. But by tomorrow, tonight later tonight, the storms will be rolling off onto the Gulf. So, all right, so there's that. All right, so tropic-wise, all of our tropic indicator maps still not showing anything as far as confidence goes, as far as these things I'm going to talk about. So that's good news. We always look ahead here at Mike's weather page and see these are all blends of ensembles I'm looking at. See if anything was popping up there as far as that goes, but I don't think so. So here's that general wave. All right, so we got a few ensembles showing. We might have our first wave out by Africa. That's our team snap, by the way. That's our team talking. We're supposed to be at the field at 9 o'clock. So you're watching this at 9:19, and it's actually 8 a.m. Let's go to Tropical Tidbits real quick. This shows everything in a nutshell. The Euro's been the most consistent on everything we've been talking about. So as we enter the weekend, it's what we showed, Friday, Sunday. This is a little tropical wave. Going to bring up rain chances lower Florida into the Gulf over the weekend. Here's our next wave that we've been really watching that might have a chance to make the Lesser Antilles next weekend. So we have a lot of friends down there in the Eastern Caribbean. This wave that's coming off Africa now has a little decent shot here. The models are still showing it's kind of sticking together. No development, but interesting because it's starting to tighten up just a tick. And doesn't mean we have a system or anything, but it does mean it's very consistent, and we've been watching it for a long time. And by 10 days, that's a long ways out. Next weekend, Saturday, this wave that we're watching enter the Caribbean here could be being watched for anything. So that's long range, nothing to get worked up about. It's been really, really consistent on the models. But if anything, it's more of a weak wave bringing up tropical juice. So again, nothing showing huge signals. We can look at the ensembles. It'll be a lot clearer looking at that. Basically what we're looking at. So short-term wise, we got a little bit of action right here below the Azores. Remember yesterday we showed you that. Let's look at that real quick on weathernerds.org. So there was a big blow-up of storms yesterday by the Azores. And, the GFS was kind of predicting it, but again, these things have a tendency to fizzle when they hit the water. So there are a few ensembles showing still possibility this little guy can pull northward. There's a little bit of spin right here, but the main wave that we're watching with the let me close out some windows. The main wave that we're watching with the Euro is actually coming off of Middle Africa, and few of the ensembles showing the possibility that by into next weekend, we could have a couple of them saying, hey, there might be an outside shot of development here. So, nothing to worry about. Just if you like to look long range, this is the low we're watching. Come off this weekend, and then make its trek across for next weekend. So that's usually 7 days from here to there, 7, 8 to 10 days. So there's a few. Nothing to worry about, like I said, but it's been a trend we've been watching. The GFS ensemble map kind of showing the same. Short term, showing a few of the members are showing that little blob that we just saw in the next couple days. Try to get going, but here's that other low coming off, and the GFS is kind of mixing the two, but it does bring up a little bit more chances towards the end of 10 days. So that season starts to get going soon. Our MJO pattern will be positive, which increases in a pulse of convection, and the dust is expected to be a little less. So we can look long range at the dust forecast. So those are two things. The water is definitely hot enough, so that's not a inhibitor. So we'll just keep an eye on it. The good news is right now there's not a lot to stress about. We just got a dry couple days ahead. South Florida's starting to get the rains, and West Coast Florida getting the rains, but this is going way out. It's nothing too heavy. This is all the way to the 25th of July. So if we were to get something next weekend, which is around the 25th, if we were to get development, I always click my damn account thing there. So technically, if we had anything out in 10 days, the NASA dust predictor map showing it could be drier or less dust, which would help a little bit. So, few favorable conditions to try to get something going. So there's that. Rain maps, the 5-day rain map here. I was looking at it earlier. You're starting to see the west coast of Florida getting more impact. That's 5-day totals. No biggie. Daily rains, like I said, they come and go quick, so they're not all day rain washouts. So normal stuff here. Texas is still dry, unfortunately, and that's the weather in a nutshell. No big news to report. Storms look good on our south and east. We don't have anything on Storm Prediction Center to worry about. And our day 3 to 7 hazard map, shoving that heat more north, and it's hot. So anyway, I hope you guys got to enjoy this, and I got a little weather scoop. And it's Thursday, so we're playing softball. And hopefully the game times tomorrow allow us to go live. But this is their big World Series, and if this works too, a couple trips I got planned in August, a couple days. If I don't have internet coverage, then this is going to be what I'll do to at least keep the streak alive at 9:19 and get your weather. So, kind of an experiment, and still get you guys your time to chat and do your morning love. So. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being fans. All you supporters out there, sign up to be a Facebook supporter and be part of our little weather nation here at Mike's Weather page. So have a great day. Hope to see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.